Welcome to my channel.
I thought my VR career ended with a collapse, but a free capsule offer. That changed everything. It was unbelievable, they said, watching the screens light up with confetti and cheers for the one who'd survived tens of millions of players and hundreds of battles. She didn't dodge or evade. She met every challenge head-on, rushing forward without a moment's hesitation, her every move judged by sound alone. And that's how Lee Donghee, the first champion, managed to engrave her virtual myth onto reality, her name at the top of the leaderboard with a massive lead. Then there was Shin Ha-yeon, the first champion of the streaming age, holding her trophy high, a player whose reaction speed and intuition cut through moments with impossible precision. Her virtual avatars were legends in their own right, radiating power, a testament to her skill inside the game. Her mechanics were simply unprecedented, impossible to imitate, flowing from her as she lay reclined in her VR capsule, connected to the world. She had gone beyond being just a player, becoming a legend in her own right, and now Shin Ha-yeon was preparing for her professional debut. She glanced out at the crowd, a confident, knowing smile playing on her lips, ready for whatever came next. Even now, people were lining up at these facilities, hoping for their own shot at that kind of glory. I walked past them, past the gleaming reception and towards the rows of advanced VR capsules, where dreams were made or broken. I remember the tight fit, the slight claustrophobia as the lid closed over me, sealing me inside. Kim Tae-woo's voice, muffled through the capsule, asked how it felt, though I could barely make out his words over the hum of the machine.
Oh Ji-hai smiled at me as the capsule opened, remarking that it had been a while since I'd played a game.
I sat up slowly, feeling the lingering hum of the machine in my ears. My body felt remarkably light, a sensation I hadn't expected as I pushed myself out of the capsule.
Oh Ji-hai gestured for me to come closer, holding a data pad.
She showed me the screen, which displayed a complex series of charts and figures, alongside an image of the new capsule.
She explained that these new capsules were so advanced, they allowed even people with physical impairments to play without issue.
I looked away, a slight frown touching my lips, remembering my own past failures. She seemed to notice my hesitation, her expression softening.
Then she pointed a finger up, a bright, almost mischievous smile on her face.
My eyes widened, a question mark hovering in my mind as a staggering million appeared in the air. She then looked at my current balance, which was a paltry 458 won, and mused that the price was a bit burdensome, given my funds.
With a knowing smile, Oh Ji-hai told me she had a special proposal just for me.
She then gestured to the sprawling digital world that surrounded us, a shimmering blue expanse of light and data. She explained that the new VR capsules weren't just for gaming anymore. They were a device to fulfill all desires. It was a device designed to satisfy the desires of modern people by integrating virtual reality into the industrial sector. Suddenly, a surge of power erupted, a bright orange light splitting through the digital space. A powerful impact shook the ground, a figure in a cape landing with a fiery explosion. A massive golden sword, glowing with an ethereal light, came crashing down. Then, a nimble character in dark clothes parried the blow, sparks flying from the impact. He then looked up, his face grim at another figure poised to strike from above. This was the overwhelming sense of reality that made it hard to believe it was virtual, the kind of immersion that made you forget everything else. The character in blue then drew his sword, ready to face the towering, shadowy boss. A fiery sword then appeared, indicating the start of the battle. It was all topped with flashy skills the kind that drew millions of viewers. Naturally, I found myself drawn into the game, just like millions of others. The whole world seemed to be caught up in this new capsule game fever, and I was no exception, seeing all the different players and classes. But it wasn't long before my own experience took a dark turn, the capsule sparking around me as my body failed. It hadn't even been a year before I collapsed inside the capsule. My synchronization rate was a mere 10%, nowhere near what was needed for proper immersion, and the system flashed with errors. It was because my synchronization rate, which is necessary to act as if it were real in the virtual reality world, was far below average. Now, riding the bus, I still found myself scrolling through videos about the game on my phone. I remembered being excited when they said you could play these games regardless of your synchronization rate, watching streamers play. Even so, 100 million won for a capsule was too much for what I'd intended to be just a hobby. If I hadn't started gaming in the first place, I wouldn't have even thought about wanting to play again. I leaned my head on my hand, lost in thought, the bus rumbling gently around me. My gaze drifted to the bus window, where an ad for The League featuring Shin Ha-yeon reminded me of the world I'd left behind. The memory of my previous failure still stung, making me wonder if I was really considering stepping back into that world after all this time. Later that night, the city lights twinkled like distant stars, and I found myself at home, the bus ride long forgotten. But then, a grand prize changed everything. On the screen, a commentator's voice boomed, announcing Shin Ha-yeon as Korea's #1 first champion. My friend, Kim Tae-woo, was completely engrossed, munching on chips as he stared at the screen, a picture of pure focus. I walked into the room, curious about the commotion. "What are you watching that's so noisy?" The screen showed Shin Ha-yeon's name, pitted against Challenger 1 in a dramatic V's graphic. I sat down beside him. Is the League really that famous? They've been advertising it a lot. Kim Tae-woo whipped his head around, his eyes wide in disbelief. Are you crazy? You're asking if the League is famous. He pointed at the screen, where a fiery red emblem now blazed, emblazoned with League of Streaming with INUS. It's the League of Streaming, Rios for short. The majestic image of Earth, bathed in cosmic light, appeared on the screen, revealing the staggering number, 15 million. He continued, his voice full of awe. For regular tournaments, there are basically 1 million viewers in Korea alone. Include the overseas viewers too, and it turns into a massive league with more than 15 million people watching. If you don't count the pro leagues, it's the largest competition among the tournaments that compete in the league. I asked him what kind of weapons these players usually favored, and in my mind, an archer with a glowing bow appeared. Well, there are bows and magic too, but... He paused, and a warrior with a gleaming blade appeared in my mental image. Swords are still the best. The image of the sword wielder shimmered with blue light. Swords, I thought, a familiar pang hitting me. I leaned back, my hand resting on my chin, recalling my own brief, embarrassing attempt at playing. He shoveled a handful of chips into his mouth, talking around them. I tried to show off with a sword last year and got eliminated immediately. I went for the grand prize, you know. He choked a little on his chips, looking pained as if my silence was a physical blow. It's hard to even participate in these leagues if you're not popular, you know, he griped, flustered. He then pointed out, you've never even shown an interest in capsules or streaming before. It's just... My phone, lying next to me, vibrated faintly. I picked it up, scrolling through the news feed. It was a text from Seojun, asking if I'd thought about something. The news feed announced that the league tournament, hosted by Travel, was offering a new VR capsule as its grand prize. The image showed a row of sleek advanced VR capsules, glowing faintly.
If you, Siajun, say you'll participate in the tournament, I will specially lend you the capsule for free until the tournament is over.
My eyes widened, a jolt of surprise going through me.
What will you do?
Should I try participating in LEOS too?
Kim Taewoo looked genuinely curious, a chip halfway to his mouth. I leaned back, a quiet moment passing as I considered the implications. A slow smile spread across my face. The idea was starting to take hold. Kim Taewoo just stared at me, dumbfounded by my sudden shift in demeanor.
Kim Taewoo looked at me, a puzzled expression on his face, asking where this sudden confidence was coming from.
My gaze sharpened, a familiar glint returning to my eyes, a sense of purpose I hadn't felt in years. Something had indeed been on my mind recently, a question I hadn't dared to ask myself in a long time. Why did I want to play capsule games again? Was it because I longed to feel the glory I once enjoyed, the feeling of absolute mastery? To be the sword god once again, carving my path through virtual worlds, or perhaps it was something more. The memory of my old persona, the sword god, began to stir, a whisper of past battles. I saw him standing in a serene bamboo forest, sword at his side, ready for whatever came next. His eyes, sharp and focused, reflected a determination I knew well. Then the scene shifted to a chaotic battlefield, enemies swarming him, dust and chaos all around. He drew his sword, the blade gleaming with a dangerous light. With a burst of speed and power, he cut through his opponents, a whirlwind of steel and skill. The memory faded, leaving behind a lingering sense of excitement, a challenge I was finally ready to face again. I stood amidst the fallen, my blade still gleaming, a silent testament to the fight I'd just won. I wondered if the ease with which I'd recalled that power, that skill, was somehow tied to a past life I couldn't quite remember. The vision shimmered, fading into the bright, indistinct glow of a screen powering down. The game's title card, a bold, ancient-looking script, filled the monitor. And then, the familiar logo for the streaming platform appeared, a reminder of where this all began. A secret black market, the kind that only opened during a full moon, shimmered into view. The moonlight illuminated the intricate roof of a grand, ancient building, casting long shadows. Below, figures in dark robes stood watching as a chained child knelt on the cold stone floor. That slave, covered in dirt and chains, was me in another life, a past life that felt so real I could almost touch it. Then, a sudden, violent spray of blood erupted, splattering across the scene. A lone figure, cloaked and holding two swords, stood amidst the chaos, a silent promise of vengeance. I looked up from the ground, my eyes wide, seeing the fallen bodies around me. A gentle voice asked me, "Child, won't you come with me?" If my master hadn't appeared back then, I don't know what would have become of me. He extended a hand to me, still chained, offering a way out of that desolate place. That was the day a prodigy, on the brink of despair, was saved and walked away from a life of servitude. But with that salvation came the heavy responsibility of upholding the orthodox path, carrying the weight of both envy and expectation. The weight of the orthodox path, the responsibility, it was all part of the past self who I once was. A past self that, in this reality, no longer existed. And then, with a soft ripple, the vision of that life faded, like petals falling onto still water. I blinked, the soft glow of the VR capsule still clinging to my vision, and wondered, what was the point of being the sword god in a past life if it meant nothing now?
You crazy bastard.
Kim Taewoo stood there, arms crossed, a look of utter disbelief on his face as he stared at the new VR capsule. He just kept staring.
Does buying this, just to participate in the league of streaming, even make sense?
I just looked at him, wondering why he was making such a fuss.
Do you even know how strict the LEOS entry requirements are?
He gestured emphatically, painting a picture of pro gamers being crowned and fans cheering, as if to emphasize the difficulty. I just watched him, unimpressed, as he continued his rant.
He pulled up videos, one of a streamer animatedly talking about a hamburger, then another showcasing absurd gaming skills, explaining what it took to get noticed. Next was a clip of a gamer making goofy faces at the screen, followed by a tag about humor and mocking the enemy. He even showed a guy hunched over a computer, frantically editing a video, the clicks of his mouse echoing in the room. The stream then cut to a blank screen, with just a cursor blinking. Even if you do all that, he insisted, most streamers still fail because nobody watches them. You just end up with a dead stream, no viewers and comments calling you trash.
He crossed his arms, looking utterly displeased with the whole idea. I just stood there looking at him, a slight smirk playing on my lips. He just kept staring at me, waiting for me to acknowledge the wisdom of his words.
Kim Tae-woo let out a long sigh, a small smile finally breaking through his exasperation. Actually, he said, his voice dropping, there is one way. He brought up an image of Shin Ha-yeon, Korea's #1 first champion, holding a massive trophy, surrounded by flashing cameras, as he continued, you just have to be better than Shin Ha-yeon herself.
I just looked at the image, then back at him, my expression unreadable.
Actually, I've used a capsule before, I told him, a long time ago.
Kim Tae-woo just blinked, then leaned in, a little too close. Did you even hear a word I said?
He pointed a finger toward the gleaming, almost futuristic VR capsule in the corner of the room.
Get in, he announced, gesturing grandly at the machine. Let's see what you've still got.
A small smile played on my lips, a feeling I hadn't felt in a long time.
Deal, I said and stepped towards it.
The screen above the capsule flickered, displaying the bold, vibrant title, Sword God's Livestream. I settled into the capsule, and the sleek top hissed down, a soft light humming around me. A digital voice echoed, announcing the connection to the virtual world and a countdown of 10 seconds. I leaned back, eyes fixed on the loading screen, feeling a strange mix of apprehension and anticipation.
To be honest, the idea of being a streamer was a field I'd never had any interest in.
But as the light of the capsule enveloped me, I closed my eyes and allowed myself to be pulled into the digital realm. I found myself in a different body, a past life, and a voice spoke, reminding me that we all start with more things we're clumsy at than skilled in. It urged me not to hesitate just because I hadn't tried something before, or I'd never achieve anything. The memory, or vision, shattered with a bright flash, pulling me back to the present.
I blinked, my eyes adjusting to the new surroundings, and a thought surfaced. This place is...
A holographic message then appeared announcing, Kim Tae-woo has entered the training ground. My friend Kim Tae-woo materialized before me, a familiar grin on his face, surrounded by shimmering blue light. But then he chose level 9.
Yeah, what is this place? He asked, looking around with genuine curiosity.
I explained that it was a place to fight a sparring AI to set a record, as a holographic display showing difficulty settings appeared.
Handing me a virtual sword, he joked. Hey, I don't know how to hold back when I fight. You might end up bleeding.
I ignored his playful warning, my gaze fixed on the glowing blue interface that showed the various sparring options. The system explained that the AI had levels from 1 to 10, getting stronger with each increase, and that level 10 mimicked the best record among those who cleared level 9. And then came the crucial detail. Shin Ha-yeon, Korea's #1 first champion, had held that top spot for 5 years straight.
You'd have to clear level 9 first, Kim Tae-woo said, staring at the holographic display, and that's not easy. Then he looked up at me, confused.
Because I'd already reached out, making my choice. The system confirmed the duel state and announced the match would begin shortly, as a pristine AI opponent materialized before me.
What, you already picked one? Kim Tae-woo asked, his voice incredulous. What level did you choose?
I just stood there, a virtual blade in my hand, a faint smile playing on my lips. The system beeped, signaling the start. The AI opponent immediately crouched, ready to strike. But before it could even move, I was there, my blade already impaling it through the chest.
Kim Tae-woo's eyes widened, a startled laugh escaping him. What's with this bastard?
He saw the confidence in my stance, the casual way I'd dispatched the AI, and knew I'd chosen level 9. And then, just like that, the AI shattered into pixels. My sword, a blur of motion, met the AI's attack head-on, sparks flying. I ducked under its next swing, my blade already moving for a counter. A wide, powerful arc of blue light erupted from my sword, forcing the AI back. It staggered, its HP bar dropping sharply, a crack appearing on its chest.
Was that a fluke?
The AI lunged, trying to regain the offensive, but I was already anticipating its move. I parried its blade with a rapid, precise strike that sent it reeling. Then a flurry of blue slashes crisscrossed its body, each one connecting. My final blow, a vertical cut, sliced through its midsection. The AI's form glitched, flickering as the system registered the defeat. I held my stance, my sword still glowing faintly, watching it fall. And then, in a shower of digital fragments, the level 9 AI dissolved into nothing. Kim Tae-woo was gaping at the screen, a soundless shout on his face. The AI, damaged and sparking, slowly crumpled forward. Its metal leg hit the virtual ground with a soft thud, a digital sword clattering beside it. I watched the AI's head dip, its glowing blue lines flickering. I stood over it, a faint smile playing on my lips, my own blade still in hand. Then, with a sickening crunch, the AI's form began to shatter, bathed in a sudden red glow. The light intensified, overwhelming the view as it broke apart. It exploded into a dazzling array of colorful digital fragments, scattering across the arena. Moments later, nothing was left but a few glowing pieces on the floor, and me standing victorious. The last of the fragments faded, leaving only a shimmering haze. More digital particles drifted down, a gentle shower marking the end of the duel. A holographic screen popped up, declaring my victory in the level 9 duel, my time a mere 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and my current rank at 107th.
Wait, the AI you just beat was level 9. Kim Tae-woo's voice was a shocked squeak. Hold on a minute, then that means the next opponent is. Kim Tae-woo trailed off, looking at me with wide eyes as the glowing lines of the virtual arena began to shift around me.
A new opponent materialized, forming from shimmering light and digital blocks. It was a sleek, humanoid robot, its visor glowing with a bright orange light. The light intensified, casting long shadows across the virtual ground. The robot stood tall, radiating an aura of power, its form undeniably feminine.
Shin Ha-yeon. Kim Tae-woo's voice was barely a whisper, a mix of disbelief and awe.
I just exhaled slowly, watching the figure before me.
What the hell is with this guy? I heard Kim Tae-woo mutter, probably to himself, as I kept my gaze fixed on the new challenge.
I gripped my sword, the hilt cool and solid in my hand, ready for whatever was coming next. Then the sparring ground faded, replaced by a title card, Sword God's Livestream. It seems my journey, whatever it was, had just begun. As I settled into the new capsule, I could hear Oh Jihai discussing something with the other woman, their voices a low murmur.
Why on earth did you do that? The free rental. You didn't have to go through all that trouble.
I pictured myself in their minds, triumphantly hoisting the VR capsule and declaring it mine now.
He doesn't even look like he'd be able to participate in LEOS.
The other woman, smiling knowingly, simply held up a data pad. On the screen, a picture of Seojun and a report detailing his stats and synchronization rate appeared, with a note saying, "Even back then, when he couldn't reach the minimum synchronization rate, I thought he was amazing." She pointed to a graph showing a clear upward trend. Her smile widened, her eyes gleaming as she added, "His skills have significantly improved since then." Oh Jihai looked at her, with a mix of surprise and skepticism. The other woman just gave her a confident, knowing smirk. Behind her, the display on my VR capsule glowed, announcing "Rental in progress," as she confidently declared, "I think he could win it all." My new VR capsule was finally set up in my room, ready to go. I found myself back in the sparring ground, the familiar clang of steel against steel echoing around me. This time, I was testing my reflexes against Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar, her movements sharp and precise. I let her get a clean hit on me, just to feel the impact, to see how the game's physics registered it.
He's not actually going to win, is he?
The system prompted me to record, but I dismissed it with a tap, focusing on the moment.
If he actually wins. This is perfect broadcast material.
Shin Haeyeon's avatar moved with an almost inhuman speed, delivering another powerful blow. I dodged back, feeling the wind of her blade pass inches from my face as she pressed her attack. Her attacks were relentless, a blur of motion and light, pushing me to my limits. I had to admit, even as an AI, Shin Haeyeon was formidable, her skill undeniable. It was exactly what I expected from Shin Haeyeon. This level of play was almost unreal. I leaned back, taking a breath as the virtual world faded to black around me. I'd felt this kind of talent before, in glimpses of my past life, but her skill was on another level entirely. Her talent was far greater than anyone I'd encountered even back then. Except for one person, of course. That one person was me, naturally. I nodded, confirming it to myself.
Hey, what are you doing?
The game registered a hit, and my character fell to the ground in a flash of red light. Another hit, and the screen flashed again as my character was struck, flying backward.
I figured. It was Shin Haeyeon after all.
My hand instinctively went to the hilt of my sword, a phantom grip on what wasn't there. A faint blue light pulsed around my arm, a subtle reminder of the system's presence. Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar's sword had struck the ground, sending a faint shockwave through the virtual space. I watched the impact bloom at my feet, a red burst of energy, and felt nothing. No pain, no blood, just the system's feedback. A small HP-1 indicator floated briefly beside me, a clinical confirmation of the hit. Kim Tae-woo, watching from the sidelines, looked at me with a mixture of disbelief and concern, a bead of sweat on his brow.
I was just curious.
Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar straightened, her metallic form glinting as more data fragments swirled around her. a sign of her evolving combat readiness. The air crackled between us, a silent challenge in the empty dojo. She crouched, her sword low, and the digital wind around her intensified, kicking up dust and debris. Then she lunged, a swift, decisive strike that blurred across the distance. Her eyes glowed red as she closed in, a relentless, focused attack. I parried, my sword clashing against hers with a bright blue flash that momentarily illuminated the sparring ground. Her AI reacted instantly, spinning into another attack, and I met it with a golden burst of my own, the sound of steel on steel echoing sharply. The force of our blades meeting sent a shockwave of golden light radiating outwards. My eyes narrowed, focused on her every move, the sparks from our clash reflecting in them. Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar, unyielding, held its ground. Even the visor of her helmet seemed to pulse with the intensity of her digital will. I knew what I had to do next. I swung my sword, a blur of blue energy following its path. She met it, then pushed forward, her blade catching my shoulder with a sharp impact. The blow sent a jolt through me, a cold, cutting sensation. Shin Haeyeon's AI recovered instantly, her stance unwavering. A small red notification flashed in my vision, HP -4. It was a solid hit, enough to register.
What aren't you going to attack? Then I'll come to you.
Then I moved, a blur of motion, launching myself forward with my blade aimed directly at her. Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar met my charge head-on, her own blade rising to deflect my attack. But as he logged in, a new challenge awaited. The force of our impact sent a jolt through me, a sharp clang as metal met metal. Our blades locked in a cross, sparks flying as we pushed against each other, a test of pure strength and technique. The air crackled with the energy of our clash, each of us trying to gain an inch to find an opening.
And no way.
With a final surge of power, my blade split hers, shattering the virtual steel into glittering fragments. The AI staggered back, her weapon gone, leaving her defenseless as I landed the final blow. I leaned back from the VR capsule, the exertion of the fight still lingering in my senses. A slight smile touched my lips. It was a good fight. In the virtual space, Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar sat defeated, while I stood victorious, my sword still in hand. The light of the virtual arena faded, signaling the end of our spar. I kept my stance, the virtual blade still poised, as Shin Haeyeon's AI avatar knelt before me. Then, with a shimmering burst of light, the AI's form began to dissolve, signaling its defeat. A notification appeared, confirming my victory, as the last remnants of the AI faded into the floor.
I just beat Shin Haeyeon.
Is this enough skill to do a gaming stream?
I stood there for a moment, hands in my pockets, already contemplating the path ahead. The logo for my new venture, Sword God's Livestream, materialized in my thoughts. The next day, the sun was bright, and I was back in my apartment, ready for the next step.
Bring me my food. The noodles aren't cooked evenly. Make sure you vacuum the living room later, got it? You haven't brought the laundry in yet either. Make sure you do the dishes right away, too.
Then I heard the click of my door opening, and Kim Taewoo's voice from the next room.
I installed the game yesterday, so... Shall I log in and get things ready for the stream?
I just lay back in the capsule, my eyes closed, letting the systems boot up around me. A burst of golden light enveloped me, signaling the start of my virtual journey. The light stretched into flickering lines as the world around me began to form. My eyes opened in the digital space, the familiar blue tint of the VR interface greeting me. I stood in a bright, minimalist room, a blank canvas for my new streaming career. I looked around, taking in the sterile, yet expansive, virtual environment. A notification chimed, and a blue panel materialized before me. It explained this was my personal lobby, where I could prepare before starting a game, and I realized this was where streamers usually interacted with their viewers. I watched the various elements of a streamer's lobby pop up, still thinking about what kind of content I should prepare.
I made a mental note to personalize this space later. It felt a bit too generic for a Sword God's live stream.
My eyes narrowed, a decision forming in my mind about the quickest way to get things moving.
All right then, let's start up travel, I said, and the system responded, ready to take me to the streaming platform.
The #1 game streaming platform opened up, displaying a chaotic mix of live broadcasts from racing games to zombie survival.
My immediate goal was clear. I needed to build up my reputation as a streamer fast, so I could qualify for Lios.
A notification popped up, reminding me the stream would begin shortly, and I thought about the game I'd chosen to kick things off. The title card for Dawn of the Assassination Squad. Shadows in the city unfurled across my vision, an intricate medieval setting appearing with it.
This one right here, I murmured, watching the sprawling, golden-lit city of the game materialize around me.
The camera panned over a shimmering canal, reflecting the city lights, showing figures moving silently along its banks. This was a medieval assassination game, one where success often came from highly unconventional methods, which suited my style perfectly. It was a hit, having pulled in over 2 million viewers on its opening day, a testament to its unique gameplay. Even a week later, its popularity hadn't waned, with reviews still praising its decent quality and engaging mechanics. It was, in my estimation, the perfect game for a beginner streamer like me to make my mark. The game's medieval city, with its grand clock tower, was a striking backdrop for the kind of stealth and precision I excelled at. A rope with a grappling hook shot out, a common tool for navigating the rooftops and dark alleys of this world. The hook found its purchase with a solid thud, ready to pull me upward. I launched myself, a blur of dark robes against the city lights below, the grappling line taut. With a graceful swing, my momentum carried me over the stone wall. My hand clamped down on the ledge, the brick cold beneath my fingers. I pulled myself up, my movements fluid and silent. Perched atop the building, under the pale moonlight, I surveyed the sprawling cityscape. The distant clang of the clock tower echoed through the night, a rhythmic beat against the quiet hum of the city. My avatar, cloaked in black, stood ready, the city a canvas for my next move. Well then, it was time to begin. I took a deep breath, the virtual air crisp around me, feeling the weight of the cloak settle on my shoulders.
Then, with a grin spreading across my face, I said, "Shall we get started?"
A glowing prompt materialized before me, declaring the stream was officially starting. The title card for Sword God's livestream flashed into existence, bright and bold. And then, as if on cue, the familiar call to action for the platform appeared, signaling the end of the chapter. That was the chapter. Subscribe for the next stream of the Sword God.